champion Granville Again, ridden by Peter Scudamore. 4, his full brother Morley Street, the champion of 1991, ridden by Graham Bradley. 5, Novello Allegro for Ireland, ridden by Charlie Swan. And 6 is Ruling, ridden by Peter Niven. Here's how they bet.
Well, the bookies are doing their best to lay this champion hurdle Granville Again. It's 11 to 10 on at the moment, but is slightly easing from its original price. Flown is 7 to 2 against, and Morley Street 13 to 2. Novello Allegro 9 to 1. Ruling 14 from 12s. In Crowded House, the outsider 33 to 1.
To Granville, Morley Street, reigning horse here with 3 successive wins, and I think, Bill, that he didn't run a bad race in the champion hurdle. And
no.
although he finished a little way behind them at the death, he was bang there, you know, on their tails going to the last.
It certainly was a vast improvement on his previous couple of runs when he had this blood vessel problem. The horse looks in very good order. He's carrying quite a bit of condition for him. I think today's trip maybe just suits him better now. He's getting on a bit. He's 9-year-old. Graham Bradley had been holding up and trying to reduce him right at the death, and we could certainly see a much better run from him. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see both Paul brothers first and second.
And he has come in half a point, and he's been backed already in the earlier shows. I think that is relevant, that they are fancying him. In the moving up, Dunwoody right on the inner, though Flown isn't quite as keen as Woody. Let's join Peter.
Yes, they're officially under orders. The last race before the National, and they're running. Flown in Crowded House from Ruling, then Novello Allegro, Granville Again, and then Granville's brother Morley Street. So they come to the first of the 12 flights. Flown lands clear of Ruling. Then Crowded House, Granville Again over on the far side. And the rain really driving across the course now as they jump the second in this Martell Hurdle, with Flown taking him along at a very good pace from the current champion Granville Again. They swing out of the backstretch now for the first time, and they really are motoring too. Flown from Granville Again and Ruling. Novello Allegro over on the far side, Crowded House and Morley Street the back marker. Flown, Granville Again, Novello Allegro and Ruling. So Flown turns into the straight on this first circuit. 3 flights in the straight, and this will be the 3rd flight. Flown clear of Granville Again, Ruling, Novello Allegro, Crowded House and Morley Street. Over the 4th, Flown clear of Granville Again, Novello Allegro, Ruling, Crowded House and Morley Street. This will be the last next time round in the Martell Hurdle. And Flown well clear of Granville Again. And as they come up to the winning post with another complete circuit, Flown has a good 10 to 12 length advantage over Granville Again, then Ruling, Novello Allegro, Crowded House and Morley Street. Out into the country. Flown and Richard Dunwoody, who will shortly be riding, won't be gone long in the National. Leading the champion hurdler Granville Again, Ruling next. Then Novello Allegro on the inside of Crowded House, and Granville Again's full brother Morley Street, the back marker. These 2 horses, Granville Again and Morley Street, they've earned £650,000 between them, and they've won 30 races between them. Flown, though, the clear leader as they come to the next, the 6th of the 12 flights, jumps it a good 10 lengths clear of Granville Again, then Ruling, then Morley Street making a little progress now towards the outside of Ruling. Novello Allegro and Crowded House come next, and Flown jumps the 7th, a long way clear of Granville Again, Morley Street, Ruling, Crowded House and Novello Allegro. Richard Dunwoody out of picture at the moment. He's so far clear. There he is again as he jumps the 8th on Flown from Granville Again, with Morley Street going up on the outside of Granville. The 2 brothers matching strides. Novello Allegro made a mistake at that one. Racing round the home turn, Ruling beginning to get right into the picture now. Flown the leader from Ruling and Granville again. Then Morley Street, then Crowded House as they race to the next. And quite a long run to it. Flown the leader from Ruling. They're racing into the home turn now. Flown the leader from Ruling, then Granville again and Morley Street, and Flown has really got him stretched as they come down towards the third last. Flown from Ruling, Morley Street coming there on the near side, Granville again on the far side. Flown now being tackled by Morley Street, who's been ridden very patiently by Graham Bradley. Flown lands from Morley Street second. Morley Street has won here at Liverpool for the last 4 years. Is he going to make it 5 on National Day? Flown from Morley Street, travelling well on his outside. Then his brother Granville again in third over the final flight. Flown a magnificent jump, but Morley Street has come to tackle him. Granville again comes next, and then Ruling. They're racing into the closing stages. Flown under pressure. Morley Street on the near side. Granville again coming to tackle them. It's the two brothers now. Morley Street sprints clear from Granville again. Morley Street has won it. Granville again is second. Flown third and 4 Ruling. And so the two brothers, the two famous brothers, finished 1-2. A magnificently ridden race by Graham Bradley. And Morley Street has now won for the 5th time in succession on Grand National Day, and he's won this Martell Aintree Hurdle for the 4th successive time. 19 out of 32 for this amazing horse. He went off at 6-1. The result once again, first number 4, Morley Street, owned by Michael Jackson Bloodstock Limited, trained by Toby Balding and ridden by Graham Bradley. Second was number 3, Granville again, owned by Mr. Eric Scarth, trained by Martin Pipe and ridden by Peter Scudamore. And third, number 2, Flown, owned by Mr. Edward P. Winfield, trained by Nicky Henderson and ridden by Richard Dunwoody. Fourth was number 6, Ruling.
And this Graham Bradley has been cheekier than Frank Carson. Just watch him on Morley Street on the outside, going well. The two brothers, they're in behind Flown. Granville again on the inside, Skew waiting, Morley Street and Brad waiting, Ruling back in fourth. Poor old Woody up front on Flown, doing all the donkey work there. But just look at Morley Street, going for his 4th successive win in this. And Bradley is sitting, gets a good jump there, puts him in the right position to pounce. What he doesn't know at this time is that Skew has switched Granville again and is mounting a challenge on his outside. Brad is still looking, he's laughing at Woody, and in a minute, now look, he suddenly realises that there is a big challenge. But Morley Street, coming back from Cheltenham where he did run a good race, just pulls out that little bit. This has been artistry. It reminds me of Frankham at his very coolest during his distinguished career. So as they come into this hallowed enclosure here, Morley Street, that will give Toby Balding a big boost for his national runners. And Brad, well, it's his 2nd winner at the meeting here. He's one of the leading long-serving jockeys. He's an artist in the saddle, and they all love to see him ride. But that was cheeky. He rode absolutely to orders and executed it well. Look at the lad leading him in exactly the same colours as the owner's colours here, Michael Jackson Bloodstock. And those of us who thought Morley had gone the light of yesteryear were wrong. He's back here, SPs to follow.
676 winners. Well, it wasn't all bad at Aintree last weekend, and one of the great memories of what was otherwise, until the Grand National, a marvellous 3-day festival, was the success of Morley Street for the 4th year in succession in the Martell Aintree Hurdle.
Flown the leader from Ruling, then Granville again and Morley Street, and Flown has really got him stretched as they come down towards the third last. Flown from Ruling, Morley Street coming there on the near side, Granville again on the far side. Flown now being tackled by Morley Street, who's been ridden very patiently by Graham Bradley. Flown lands from Morley Street second. Morley Street has won here at Liverpool for the last 4 years. Is he going to make it 5 on National Day? Flown from Morley Street, travelling well on his outside. Then his brother Granville again in third over the final flight. Flown a magnificent jump, but Morley Street has come to tackle him. Granville again comes next, and then Ruling. They're racing into the closing stages. is Flown under pressure. Morley Street on the near side. Granville again going to tackle them. It's the two brothers now. Morley Street sprints clear from Granville again. Morley Street has won it. Granville again is second. Flown third and 4 ruling.
One of the great rides in the career of the ultimate Mr. Cool, Graham Bradley. Brad, that must have given you a lot of pleasure.
Absolutely tremendous, it really was. It was nice to get back on a really fabulous horse, probably the best hurdler I'd ever ridden, and it gave me tremendous pleasure.
Obviously you remembered what happened to Richard Dunwoody in that race 12 months ago.
Yes, I think it was his first ride on the horse, and he hit the front far too soon. Sorry, Richard, but obviously that's the way to ride him. He gave me an unbelievable ride, actually. He travelled all the way through the race, and he made it very easy for me.
He seems to be a really happy horse when he's on the bridle and when he's got a lead.
Well, he ran very well in the Champion Hurdle and just blew up going to the last. But in the race on the Saturday there, I mean, he never came off the bridle. I've got 2 gears left there still. Skew frightened me a little bit when he came up on the outer, but when I grabbed hold of him, he's opened up a length and a half in about 75 yards, really.
Well, you always said that Leicester was your idol, and that was straight out of the Leicester copybook.
Thank you very much. I hope you're proud of me, Leicester.
It seems a funny thing to say about a horse who's won a Champion Hurdle, but I still always feel that Cheltenham's not really his course. Do you feel that?
Don't know, he seemed a lot happier over the flat course at Liverpool and the 2.5 miles. He was basically gave me a totally different feel altogether.
And it's not an easy place, Cheltenham, to ride a waiting race, in particular the Champion Hurdle, you know, to drop him in.
No, Cheltenham's a lot sharper than what people think. There's a lot of bends, and you run uphill past the stands, then you run downhill away from the stands, and you go a little bit back uphill, and then obviously running down the hill towards the second last and the last hurdle. It's very sharp, undulating, and takes a lot of knowing, really. You can get caught on 2 or 3 of the bends. Very difficult to drop in and come through 20 odd runners.
What was the reaction of Grandfather Balding to that ride of yours?
When I came into the winner's enclosure, I jumped off and he was smiling, and he said, "Hit the front a bit soon, didn't you?" But I think he was joking.
Graham, any more personal targets for you for the end of the season?
Black Humour might run in the Whitbread. He's just got a touch of a sore shin. And Cavis Clown, I think I ride him in the Scottish National, so I'm hoping he jumps a bit better than he has done the last time.
Graham, it's great to see you, great to see you on the crest of the wave.
Just before we go, Julian, could I please, the boys in the weighing room would like to wish Di Tegg and his wife Annette all the best. He's still struggling a little bit, and we're all saying a prayer for you, David. I hope you get well soon.
Well, we'll all go along with that.
Thank you.
Graham, thank you. We'll be back.
Starters all